Hey, community.
Hey, we are 1-2
Comic Talk.
Hey, we're really happy to be back, aren't we?
Well, it's not.
I'm happy to be back.
Well, we're always happy to be back whenever we can. We say that every video. We're just kind of here for like a short check-in. This is totally unscripted. We're just checking
Totally
in.
unscripted.
Checking in about stuff that we've done, comics we've read, any games I've played.
For instance, let's start talking about Joker.
The movie or
Both.
both the movie and what?
Well, you got to read
the comics.
Well, you got to read that gigantic magazine DC put out.
Joker Who Smiles.
Right. Tell me about that. I didn't get to read it still.
Oh no, Joker That Laughs. We already
Joker That Smiles.
Oh, it is? Oh, I'm pretty sure we already reviewed it. Yeah, we did.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't get to read it still.
So
that being that we're talking about that in Night Space, the whole reason why we're linking that is hopefully tomorrow we're gonna go and end up seeing that.
Actually seen the movie, but with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin.
Yeah. Okay.
How did you pronounce it?
What?
Don't hurt yourself. Your tongue's gonna.
We're not gonna talk about it. All right, we need to talk about some comics. So. Hopefully you guys watched our video where we got to unbox some CGC comics. You brought out the 9.8 Usagi Yojimbo. You want to talk about that?
Well, the reason why I ended up bringing out Usagi Yojimbo is his 35th anniversary. I also ended up bringing out this. This was also one that I ended up having signed at the event, where I ended up having that signed. Long story. My point being, I've been collecting this stuff now, it hit me, for 35 years. That's why I've been slabbing some of this stuff. You'll end up seeing in that unboxing video, as you mentioned.
Right.
Those books are the reason why I slab them is you can hear in the video. And again, I welcome you. Please watch it. Subscribe, like, throw a comment at us. The reason why we did that is because I wanted to see all these things. I was really afraid because of having all these comics throughout all this time that I was starting to damage them because of how much I've been adding to them. So, and I've been reading. So again, speaking of which, Usagi Yojimbo number 6 came out and it was a commemorative thing. So about the whole 35th anniversary.
Let's talk about Canto number 6.
The reason why we're going to talk Canto is briefly is because we got to see Mr. David Boer.
Well, you did.
Well, I did. You got to speak to him.
I got to speak to him on the phone. I was doing a school thing and I couldn't go there right at that time. But you called me and I was able to talk to him.
Yes.
And that was awesome. And you...
he was at a local comic book shop.
Are we allowed to... I might bleep this out.
Just go ahead and
do you plan on talking about
also what I want to make mention is I want to thank him. Yeah, we could what he did is a regular signing along with Mr. Christopher Abels. Thank you both of you gentlemen. They went to our local comic book shop here, and the name of the shop is
Comic Bug,
and it is located at Manhattan Beach.
Yeah, Manhattan Beach.
That's here in California.
I never looked at the streets.
And it also is next to a place called the Game Hub.
They're 2 and 2. They're together. Make sure to go check them out. They have D&D every Wednesday and card games like throughout the week.
So when I went there, I had to arrive after working, and when I arrived, I got to see both gentlemen, and it was a commencement for me. The reason why is Kai and I end up going to the Golden Apple to get the first book signed.
And that was my first signing I went to. And
what we end up doing...
Wasn't it your first signing coming back into everything?
Absolutely.
Right.
That's why we end up getting those books slabbed. So, one of the books I end up getting slabbed, again, in that unslabbing... or in that unboxing of the slabbing.
Make sure to go check it out.
Is that Canto number 1. And it was to seal up something that he and I did together. And that was the inspiration for you and I to start doing Comic Talk.
Right.
So it's basically David Boer is probably one of the first people we were plugging on this show. And this book was the first one. Now the reason why, long story, is this book came out. Both of us got to read it. However, we are not going to review it. The reason why is we're going to do something totally never done before. on the hopefully the next show that we do.
Talk about the other you saw too.
We are going to do a review, but in a totally different fashion. Look for our next shows on 1-2-comic-talk. I also want to talk about Unsacred. This is Mirka and Dolfo's first book in her entirety. This is all her stuff. This book's really flying underneath the radar. It's a great book. A lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. Punish. A lot of punny stuff the whole time. It's a great little love story journey between two souls that are totally opposite. Highly recommend it. It's a great story. I'm not even certain, but I think it's limited to only 6 copies. So the second one's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Let's talk about Pretty Violent, number 4.
We've been there since the beginning.
We have.
Along with this, also dropped a couple of months right after we were. This was probably the first book on 1-2-comic-talk that we were really talking about, because again, 1-2-comic-talk was inspired by David Boer and people like him and his type of books. This was Derek Hunter's first book. He's known for his animation, but this was his first comic. We bought into it hard. we're fans and a half. So yeah, the 4th one dropped. What do you think? This one we can review. Well, let's go all the way from the beginning to here.
Really?
Sure.
Well, no. Okay.
No, real quick. I mean, who's the main character?
Gamma Ray.
She's born into what kind of family?
Villain family.
Yeah. So we're talking about all these super powerful people.
Right.
So they're all villains. Is she?
No.
Not
on purpose.
No, but unfortunately, it seems just by nature.
Right, and then
so no good. No, and the whole storyline is like no good deed goes unpunished.
She's just trying to be good, but she doesn't know how to handle it. So it's basically her journey trying to get really good, get into the society of the heroes.
So where are we at with number 4?
She's totally in it, and with a villain's help, she's actually going through the ranks in the hero.
Yeah, but who's this villain?
It's
right.
her brother.
Right. She's related to an individual who she's asking help for. It's never worked out before every time she asks her family for help.
And, it's because he ended up saying this is going to come with, like, a price.
You know, everything always does.
And so she gets really good friends with this person, and there's a really odd page, and then she gets Chinese finger trapped.
You ruin the ending, but basically she's looking to befriend someone, so she's asking the help of her brother to do research on a person to try to gain her friendship. And
basically the goal there is he gives her a lot of villain weaknesses.
Inside information on people's weaknesses.
And so she just goes after them, and so she had it done back to her.
That's his innate ability, so what she doesn't put 2 and 2 together is that he has her pegged. He knows her weakness, but she thinks that she doesn't have anything. She's that arrogant.
And I feel like Merc doesn't really do much. He's kind of...
If you read this book on a surface level, much like almost anything else, you're only going to get that surface thing. But if you read it on a depth level, you can end up seeing that this is a reflection on us in general. Even when we try to do something, do something right, is it for the right reason? Because if it's not, maybe it comes back to bite us. Even if we're doing something right, if we're not doing it for the right reason, it's still wrong. And that's what this whole issue was about. Right?
True. I mean, I guess. What else do we got here? Let's talk about one more thing.
Hey, look, one of the things a couple things I want to talk about. One is this whole Absolute Carnage. We're done. Absolute Carnage number 5 drop.
You cleaned up. You got it all.
There's these little tendrils that still come out from the core of the story. However, the core of the story has now been told, and now it's a matter of what happens because of this situation, or because this has now happened. What is going to happen now? I will say this: I won't get in all the details. I'll just ruin one big one. God is coming.
Fair enough. This has been 1, 2.
No, I'm not out.
What? Why?
Nothing. This is one of the things, I normally don't talk spec stuff, but at the same point, what I want to talk about is this book. The reason why I want to talk about this book is Donny Cates is taking over Thor. Alright? I already put in my order for Thor 1 and 2 for next year. You might sit there and go, why is he holding this book out of all? It's not even really anything. No. Until you start reading, well, kind of quarterback. That's something. Guardians of the Galaxy. Cates ever do anything with them? Thor. Is Cates gonna do something with him? Look at all these characters.
Wait, let me see.
I think there's something in this book that's gonna tell us what I believe what Donny Cates is gonna be writing in the future.
Really?
And on that big boom, he's Kai.
He's Kevin.
And we are 1, 2.
Comic Talk.